Yo, what's going on, everybody? What is going on? This is Edward Williams, founder and creator of Health by Any Means Necessary, and wanted to come out here real quick and speak with you all. So you all know, I told you in my last live that I did that I am currently working on my next book, and in addition to that, I see patients on a daily basis. So a lot of these things are just fresh in my mind. They're always fresh in my mind for the most part. But because I'm actively writing, which is a painful process for me, I don't like writing, but because I'm actively writing and seeing patients at the same time, a lot of things are just fresh in my mind. And so it makes me address things in a very different way because I need to understand what my patient or my client or whoever it is I'm trying to help, I need to understand what they are thinking and why they are thinking. And, my next book will be based on laws of health. And, the thing about laws is that they don't involve your feelings. They don't involve anyone's feelings. Laws don't even care about feelings. They just are. In nature, there are laws in nature. We talk about gravity. What goes up must come down. And the thing about a law is the character of the person doesn't matter. This can be a very upright, upstanding citizen, contributes to their community. But if they choose to jump off of a building, how much people love that person does not matter to that law. And so that person jumping off the building, even though they may think that they're going to fly and go up or it's going to be a safe landing off of a 30-foot building, they don't break the law without the law breaking them. So the law will push aside all of the worldly stuff as far as how we feel about that person and still make the law take place. And we have to understand that is the same thing with health. We have laws all across all aspects of our life. Whether you're driving a car, there's laws to driving cars. There's laws to, growing a plant. Plants have certain needs, requirements, and if you don't do it, then you're not going to get what you want to get out that seed. And so, once again, you can be a very good person, you can be a very loving person, but if you plant a seed in the middle of a desert and you don't give it water, how good you are and how nice you are does not matter, right? So, when we go over here to talking about health, we have to understand that there are laws to health. And what I've always realized, I've always known, but I'm coming to a better understanding of how to articulate is that you always hear me say that the healthcare system has incredibly failed society in general. You always hear me say that. We all know that. But along with me saying that, I don't just say that and do nothing about it. I lay out my plan of action as far as how to go about improving it. But along with this failure that we call the healthcare system, when it comes to improving health, they have made it normal and okay to pretend that laws of health does not exist. And along with that, they've normalized the idea of breaking these laws, whether you know it or not. They have normalized us all breaking these laws and pretty much make it a part of our culture. You understand that as humans, we need water. This is not an opinion. It's not something that I feel. This is a law. Your body needs water. If you don't drink water, you're going to pay for it in some fashion or form. I don't have to judge you. The judgment is already built into that law. Our bodies are 70% roughly, 70% of water. Therefore, with something that makes up that much of the body, stands to reason you need it. This is information and knowledge that we've had passed down through generations and generations. We all know that we need water. We all know that we need fresh air. We all used to know, and still a fact, that we need sunlight. When you don't obey these laws, and the reason why you may not obey it can vary, whether someone didn't tell you, you weren't informed, maybe you thought that you were above the law and you didn't have to obey the law. Regardless of the reason, the outcome will still be the same. You break the law breaks you. You don't drink water, you become dehydrated, and then cramping, electrolyte deficiency, XYZ. Now you're dealing with heart electrical situations. Same thing with fresh air. You don't breathe fresh air, carbon dioxide, suffocation. The law will now judge you. And so what we have in society, and it's very relevant, it's very prevalent. We can see it in all aspects, but I especially see it a lot with brand new patients. When patients are just surprised by certain findings. This could be a patient who is 5'8", 275 pounds, who is surprised that their blood pressure is 170 over 110 and that their blood sugar is 230. Why are you surprised? Why are you surprised? And I know this sounds, I don't really care how it sounds, because I think us caring too much about feelings, especially when it comes to something as important as health, has gotten us into a very bad situation, a very bad position, especially when it comes to the Black community. And I don't think that was done on accident. I think that from what I've seen overall, this is very purposeful. And so I'm not here to really, cushion it or wear gloves or anything like that, because that's just not my mission. That's not my job. That's not my vision. That's my purpose. None of those things. It's the radical improvement. And if we're not honest and truthful with these things, what has happened, what's going on, and what needs to happen, then we're going to be running in circles. And so when I have a patient who has that weight, has the blood sugar, the blood pressure, and they're just shocked by the findings, and they're shocked by the blood work, my question to them is, why are you surprised? And their response is usually, I had no idea, I didn't know, and I get it. Once again, I get it. The reason why they had no idea, they didn't know, is because the laws of health was not taught to them. Somewhere down that line, that generation, it wasn't passed on. And that's because it became normal to break laws and assume that you would still be fine. And once again, you can't break any laws by nature. You can't break it and expect not to have consequences. But breaking laws and thinking that you weren't going to have any consequences became normal. It became a culture. How can you eat fake food and still expect to be hungry? This doesn't line up with reality. How can I have a truck that's a V8 that runs on a certain type of oil and I choose to pour syrup in there instead? Once again, doesn't matter how good of a person I am. It does not matter how beautiful my truck is. If I give that truck syrup instead of oil, the laws of physics and the mechanics of that truck will now take over. You don't have to judge me. The judgment of what's going to happen is already built in the fact that that truck runs off of oil and not syrup. Your body has things that it runs on. It needs potassium. It needs magnesium. It needs calcium. It needs vitamin D. It needs water. It needs fresh air. It needs sunlight. It has multiple things that it needs. These are not negotiable. These are not things that you can negotiate about. These are actual needs that should be basic knowledge for all people. But somewhere around the line, once again, this is purposeful. This is not something that just happened by accident. We started to have embedded into our culture that you can ignore these things and you can break these laws without consequences. And when things start to go wrong with it, we'll pretend like we don't know why it's going wrong. But what we can do is prescribe you a medication that will deal with that symptom. So yeah, it does bring you back to the healthcare system, insurances, and also pharmaceutical industries. Yes, absolutely does. Because in a world where we believe or we know that health is our birthright, then we would see these higher blood readings and higher blood sugar issues as things that are not natural. We would understand that I must be doing something wrong. I must not be giving my body something that it needs in order for the pressure to increase. In order for my blood sugar to increase, I must be giving it something that is making it happen. We would see it as a cause and response. We wouldn't think that it's just something that's just running in our family, which is thinking that these preventable lifestyle conditions just run in your family. You have completely pushed aside laws of health, laws of nature, and just accepted that I can do whatever I want to do, and regardless of what I do, whether it be improving my health or decreasing my health, my destiny, my health destiny is already written out for me, because that is what this world has told me. That is what this society has told me. And that is a huge mistake. So back to the patient, 270, blood sugar 230, blood pressure extremely high. The diastolic number was like 110. To be surprised that these things happen means that you were walking around believing that you can do whatever you want, eat whatever you want, smoke whatever you want, drink whatever you want without any recourse, without any consequences. That's what I'm saying. And this is a patient with insurance. Like, this is not the first time this patient has been seen by a practitioner. And that patient is just a snapshot of thousands of people in our country who feel and believe the same way. You know, you have people who at least know that they're doing wrong, who at least know that, all right, this is not healthy. All right, this is going to cause issues. And I get it. You know, some people do those things to adjust and adapt to the stresses they have going on in life and other issues. But for those who are completely oblivious, why do you think that you can eat what you want, drink what you want, smoke what you want, not move, and still be okay? Well, that thinking comes from the disregard, the disrespect of natural laws, health laws. And so, yeah, hold on real quick. Sorry about that. And so I'm not here to further, kick that can down the road as far as ignoring laws of health. My job is to let you know what the laws are. There will be no judgment from me, and there's no judgment from anyone, because once again, the judgment is built in the actual law. You don't drink water, the law will judge you. You don't get sunlight, vitamin D, there's going to be consequences to that. You see? And so my job is just to lay it out, let you know what it is, and let you know the consequences of doing it and not doing it. And from there, as long as you know, and you are you're a grown adult who makes their own decisions, my job is done. If you want to further work on improving that, then that's what we're over here for. That's what H-BAMN is over there for. But my job is not to do this soft, cushy, it's okay, just take medications. No, because once again, the medications help you further break laws. The medications help you further break the laws. Once again, in the case of high blood pressure, there's a reason that your blood pressure is going up. It's not just going up just because it felt like it. There's a reason why your blood pressure is going up. When you think about the very purpose and function of blood pressure, you have to understand you're talking about over 60,000 miles of blood vessel. 60,000 miles. Planet Earth is 25,000 miles around. So this 60,000 miles mean that your blood vessel, something inside of you, can wrap around planet Earth 2.5 times around. That circulatory system, one of its jobs is to make sure that it delivers blood to your trillions of cells, trillions with a T. All of those cells have needs, not wants, not desires, needs. This means that if I need it and I don't get it, my functioning is going to decrease in some shape or form. This is not something we can negotiate about. I need oxygen. If you don't give me oxygen to this cell, the cell has a consequence, and that is called ischemia, which leads to infarction, means cell death. These are not things you can negotiate about. And so when you have 60,000 miles of blood vessel with red blood cells circulating through it, delivering oxygen and nutrients, picking up the waste, taking it back to the right side of the heart to be pumped into the lungs, to be reoxygenated, to be pumped into the left side of the heart, to be pumped back out into the body, you have to understand that along that 60,000 miles of blood vessel, something may go wrong. There may be a decrease in space in the arteries. There may be restriction. There may be stiffening. There may be a blockage. Well, in the case that there is some type of restriction or blockage, if a blood pressure of 120 over 80 does not suffice, it's not sufficient enough to continue to perfuse those trillions of cells through your body, what do you want your body to do? Do you want your body to say, all right, 120 over 180 is the best we can do? We got this huge blockage in our way. I mean, we can go around, but we're going to go around at the same pressure, and it may not be as efficient, but we're going to do it. And while your blood pressure is trying to maintain that same blood pressure and still perfuse the 37 trillion cells in your body, guess what's going to happen to the actual organism, the human? You're going to pass out. After you pass out, your cells are going to start to die. If that blood can't get back to that heart, you're going to die. Because your body is an adaptive machine, it is going to adapt to the adversity, meaning that the heart is going to pump faster, it's going to increase the contractility, it's going to cause vasoconstriction, it's going to do multiple things in order to perfuse those 37 trillion cells in your body by any means necessary. By any means necessary. So your body sees an obstacle, it sees an adversity, and it makes an adjustment. It makes an appropriate response by increasing your blood pressure. So I'm saying all that to say this: when your blood pressure goes up, it's not a mistake. It's not doing it just because it felt like being increased today. There's a reason. And so when you don't understand basic functions, because the basic function will actually teach you the law of that system or of that aspect of health. But when your healthcare providers either don't know the proper function, has been miseducated, or they've been educated by people who write the books who also run the pharmaceutical industries, then they're going to teach you in a way which is going to lead you down the road of medications. And so when your blood pressure is increasing, it's increasing for a reason. And that reason that it's increasing is to help keep you alive. So that is going to be one aspect of the law. Now, for you to take medications, and once again, this is not medical advice. I'm not recommending that anyone stop taking their medications. None of that. Speak with your doctor or your practitioner about overall improving your health. But you have to understand, if your body is making that decision to increase the contractility and increase vasoconstriction, is doing that in order to keep the proper perfusion of blood going on. And so when you take a medication that says we're going to break this law, I know your heart wants to increase the contractility. Nah, we're not with that. We're going to break this law. I know your heart wants to increase the rate. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to block the beta receptors. I know your body wants to constrict the arteries in order to increase the pressure. Nah, we're not going to do that. We're going to break that law. And so even when your body makes an adaptation to get you to survive and keep you at some level of survival, and you take medications, they go in, assist you in breaking your own body's laws, and then now you see the number artificially decreased. Practitioners are happy, you may feel happy, but you may also feel side effects. And it's only so long that you can continue the same lifestyle, continue breaking the laws of health, the water, the sunlight, the magnesium, the green food. It's only so long that you can run that, do that without the laws finally kicking. Well, it's already kicking in, but the laws actually showing the repercussion. So I just want you all to make sure you understand that there are laws. There's laws. There are laws to health. There are things that are just not, you can't negotiate when it comes to our health. And the same way we look at all these other things, like, when you plant a seed, if you want to grow, there's laws. There's rules to this. You know that if you have a car and you want it to run for a long time, there's rules to that. There's rules to that. It doesn't matter if you're a good person. It doesn't matter if you're a bad person. There's rules to it. And if you follow the rules, the cars will run properly. If you're a bad person and you plant a seed in rich soil and water it with sunlight, it's going to grow. It doesn't even matter if you're a good person or a bad person. So what I'm saying is that we have to be logical about some things. And I say we have to be logical when it comes to health, because we are in a culture that I believe purposely is getting us to be more emotionally based when it comes to health, and thinking that you can eat this, you can smoke that, you can drink this, you can do these things, and you can take these medications, or your behavior has nothing to do with your actions, because the results were going to take place anyway, because it just runs in your family. So that line of taking the accountability off of the individual, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. It's one thing when you don't know. I completely get it. But it's another thing when you know. Now, if you know and you still choose to live a certain way, that is completely okay, because that is your decision that you made as a conscious individual who understood the pros and the cons, and you made a decision to live a certain way. But it's another thing when you're not even aware that there are laws, like you're not even aware that there are pros and cons. In fact, you were telling that you could do this, like you can literally have your cake and eat it too, and not have any consequences to go along with it. That's another thing. That is devious, that is evil, that is wicked, and that's what I see going on when we talk about this healthcare system. Because to tell somebody that lifestyle condition, you know what lifestyle condition means? It means a condition that came about based on your lifestyle. To tell somebody that a preventable condition, you know what preventable means? It means that it could be prevented. To tell someone that these things are just running your family, that means you have no, your behavior, your modifications don't really matter. It just runs in your family. And if it happens, it's not really your fault. It was going to happen. So it's learned helplessness. But it's also something that's just being embedded in our culture so much to where it becomes normal. And the idea of taking medications at a younger and younger age just becomes normal. It just becomes culture. It just becomes, that's just what it is. And that's what's going on. There's going to be a huge price to pay when we allow that to become completely normal, because now you're making yourself dependent on a system who, once again, never had your best interest in mind. Never. Just never. So that's what I want to get out here and talk to y'all about. I don't know how long I've been on here, but hope y'all understand what I'm saying. I see I got some comments. Let me see if I can go through them real quick. Yo, Clover, what's going on, brother? Sweet Pea says, yep, we got to obey biological laws. Our bodies will. Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Lauren, what's going on? Delilah. Yes, what's going on, Delilah? Sweet Pea says, what is a reasonable amount of time to really see a change in my blood pressure if I'm working to lower it? Yeah, so everybody's time is going to change. One of the things that may help you out in realizing, as far as that change or that improvement, is by understanding, or looking at the timeline it took to get there. You know, so if you're someone who's like, 35 years old, well, just remember to be kind with your body, because you're working against 35 years of, unhealthy food, improper drinks, whatever your story may be. Just kind of look at your timeline. It won't take 35 years to improve it. It definitely won't. But have that kindness with your body as it goes through its change. Just be consistent and persistent with the changes that you're making. The water, because you understand, like, a lot of structural repair needs to take place. That's why I'm such a huge advocate. Fasting is my gospel. And one of the many reasons that I'm such a huge advocate of fasting is because it allows structural repair to take place, such as autophagy, which, if you haven't read about cardiac autophagy, is something I'll be talking about relatively soon. But you have to read about that. You have to know that if you are someone who's dealing with heart issues, blood pressure, and circulation issues in general, and the idea of fasting has not come into your mind, one, that means you haven't been watching our videos. But two, you should read about it. And once you're done reading about it, ask yourself, why is this just not common knowledge? Fasting, after all, is absolutely free. Once again, it's not by accident. It was not overweight, best shape of my life, working out 2 days per week. How can this be? So, Sweet Pea, I would say check your lead level. So a lot of people have, there's a term for it. Pretty much where someone is skinny, they seem healthy, but their blood pressure is very, still high, elevated. You want to make sure you don't have what they call secondary hypertension, which is because of an actual structural problem. Someone may have a tumor secreting epinephrine hormones in your body. Someone may have renal stenosis, but you also want to make sure you don't have a high amount of lead in your water, which leads to being in your body. And if that is the case, then you want to look into chelation, if that's the case. All right. Clover, what's going on, brother? I've learned so much from listening to your teaching. I'm no longer taking all those medications. Yo, beautiful. That was prescribed to me without properly informed. Yo, Clover, that's what's up, brother. I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. I know that food will send you to early grave. Yeah, that's true. Florence says, my blood pressure is 130/102 very often. What can I do to lower it, please? Yo, so Florence, what I would say is go ahead and download my book called The Blood Pressure Manifesto. That's a free PDF book. I also have a free course called The Truth About High Blood Pressure. Those two things alone will help you get started. But you want to make sure, I'll tell you just real quick, you got to get moving. I don't know how much activity that you're doing, but you want to get moving. One, well, hold on. Look at the things that you're taking in. Lead water is a huge issue. But look at the things you're taking in. Are you drinking alcohol? Are you smoking cigarettes? But also, are you sedentary? Are you not moving enough? But now you need to understand that you need to drink water. Water has to be your best friend as far as when it comes to beverages that you're drinking. Also calcium, magnesium, potassium, vitamin D, sunlight, movement, all these things, and that should really be coming from your food primarily. Of course, sunlight, you need to be getting outside for sunlight. But if you're not in an area where you can get ample amount of sunlight, then you want to be taking a high quality supplement for vitamin D. But definitely go ahead. I have 2 things on it. The Truth About High Blood Pressure, which is a mini course. It's a fantastic free mini course. I really go in depth explaining that. And I recommend people go through that video, go through that course, because it is an intellectual body slam when it comes to high blood pressure. Just completely blows it out of the water when it comes to just believing that this is just something that just runs in your vein. So I definitely recommend checking those things out. But also, in that course, what you're going to learn is that I shift you from asking the question of what do I do to lower my blood pressure, to a higher quality question, which is, what is my blood pressure responding to? Two different questions, and they both indicate something differently. The first one of what do I do to lower my blood pressure, it denotes the fact that we think that our bodies are just acting erratically. It denotes the fact that we think that our bodies are just increasing blood pressure for no reason whatsoever. However, if we go to the other side of what is my blood pressure responding to, that acknowledges the intelligence of our body. That acknowledges the intelligence of our creator or whoever, whatever you believe in, but it acknowledges that this is being done for a reason. My job as the conscious individual is to figure out what that reason is. And once I figure out what that reason is, I now have to make a decision if I want to address it by stopping it or starting it or whatever it's going to do. So go through the course, okay? So it's a relatively short course, but you're going to learn a whole lot. And what you learn in that course can be you can use that with diabetes, cholesterol, obesity, all those things, all right? You're done. You're definitely welcome. My blood pressure is high. I have a bad headache and a hot murmur. Yeah, so Florence, definitely go ahead and check out those two resources I told you about, okay? All right, y'all. So me going back in, finishing these patients. I probably got a couple waiting right now. But just be careful with this world, man, with this society as far as, our thinking. And just kind of believing that these things are natural, because they're not, okay? They're not. So that's it, y'all. I appreciate it. Share the video. Let me see. I got a couple more questions came in. Tanya, how much vitamin D should you take if you don't get outside much? I take 5,000 IUs a day. Yeah, so that's good. I have a blog article about vitamin D. I tell you how to, just in general, start. You want to take your weight. You want to take your, if you know your previous vitamin D level, I would say 5,000 is fine. You can do 10,000 here and there, but 5,000 on a daily basis is going to be fine. But also go ahead and get your vitamin D levels checked so you can see where you're at. All right. And also we do sell vitamin D. We sell vitamin D as well. So Florence says take the course. Yeah, definitely go ahead and take that. Sheila, what's going on? When is the course starting up again? Oh no, so Sheila, I was telling them about the free course, the truth about high blood pressure. But as far as the Fast Life 20-day challenge, maybe sometime around April or May. But of course, you all will be the first to know who are already in the group. So, but we're not sure yet. What's your thoughts on sea moss? Yeah, sea moss is good. Sea moss is good. Natural food, whole foods in general is good. My thing is, I just want to make sure we don't get into that realm of magical foods. You know what I mean? Foods assist. Okay, they assist in helping you be healthy, but you have to be doing the large amount of work, which is, not eating unhealthy foods, moving, getting ample sunlight. You have to be obeying those laws. And then foods like sea moss and everything like that, they assist. But if you're somebody who's, eating unhealthy foods and smoking and drinking and everything like that, sea moss is just a waste of money. So sea moss is only beneficial if you're doing the work. Sea moss only works if you're doing the work. Just like everything else. It only works if you're doing the work. All right? Ali, what is going on? Ali, appreciate your support for like over the past 6 years. Ali, I don't know. It's been a long time. But there's certain people who I would just recognize their name because they've been there for a long time. So I definitely appreciate you. All right, y'all, let me go see these patients. Share the video, like the video if you want. But just think about what I'm saying, okay? I love y'all, appreciate y'all. Remember, this is our community, our responsibility. We have what it takes. Let's get it, all right? Peace.